Hey there. Welcome to another Tesla Motors Club podcast. My name is Lewis.
I'm Doug.
And I'm Mike.
In today's episode, we're going to go over Doug's 24-hour test drive of the new Model S. We'll review our 2025 predictions to see the scorecard, see how we did, and we'll make some updated predictions for 2026. All that and more, where episode 77 starts now. Gentlemen, we're back. Welcome. How's everyone doing?
Survive the holidays.
Survive the holidays. Excellent.
Survive the holidays.
Hopefully everyone had a good one. Yeah, Mike, sounds like you have a story there. I don't know if we want to share. I was in Italy. Mine was pretty great. So
yeah.
Oh. I was here for Christmas, but then I went to London for on New Year's Eve. And actually I had Christmas in London pretty much because Christmas kind of extends until the 12th day of Christmas. So
sure.
I did those kind of London Christmassy things. So it was kind of fun.
Nice.
And so lots of curbside charging. That was cool. People's residential curbside charging. And
nice, right on.
It can work, people. It can work.
I think I saw
my HOA that.
Yeah. I think I saw like 2 Teslas in 2 weeks or something. I was in Napoli, mostly in Italy, and yeah, very few Teslas.
Did you
saw a lot of
Jeeps
or
Jeeps? Oh,
well, yeah, because Jeeps owned and made by Fiat now. They make it in Italy, I saw a number of Jeeps, and obviously Fiats and other Italian cars, but yeah, the weirdest one for me was seeing so many Jeep Renegades, specifically lots of Renegades. So yeah, but yes, I did see 2 Teslas. Anyway, that's cool. Well, welcome back. I'll just throw out there, as part of my vacation, I did my first road trip with my car, with my Tesla since getting it. Round trip about 1,500 miles. My first time actually supercharging for real.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And FSD'd the whole way, and I have to say it was amazing. Oh man, I can't recommend it enough to people. Like, I've talked about it with people at work, I've talked about it with family members. Like, it was such a different experience. The last time I did a road trip was not in a Tesla with self-driving, and it was so good. Supercharging was super easy. I never felt like I was waiting for it because we had dogs with us, so we'd go out with the dogs to go potty. Like, the car was always ready to go, and the car drove the whole damn way. Like, I had no interventions on that.
And this is hardware 3.
This is hardware 3. Hardware 3. Yeah. No interventions.
Yeah,
it was 13 hours. I only had, to be fair, on the way back, I did have 1 intervention, but it was not that the car necessarily did anything wrong. It was the traffic was super backed up on an exit, and it didn't know to merge in early enough. So I was trying not to be a jerk.
Yeah, sometimes it likes to pass everybody.
It likes to pass everybody and then cut in. And I was like, I don't want to be a jerk, so I'm gonna take over on that part. But otherwise, literally, that was it the whole time.
Now, did you have on my last road trip through Vegas? I had to intervene on the way home because we had severe wind, and the car was getting kind of buffeted. And the reaction time of FSD versus getting a lane change by the wind was a little late. So just out of pure safety and not liking being next to the big trucks, I had to kind of give up.
I didn't experience that. We did have a lot of wind. Like, I drove through Oklahoma, so there was a lot of wind.
A lot of wind,
as the musical claims. So I definitely experienced some high winds, but no, didn't have any kind of issues like that. It was very smooth. So again, highly recommend. Even on hardware 3, road trip was great. I did get to witness somebody. I did not use AutoPark at all, but I watched somebody use AutoPark, so they claim, at a supercharger, and their car backed into the supercharger and took it out, straight up, fluid leaking everywhere. It was, and the person was freaking out. I went and spoke to them and
I can
calmed
imagine.
them down. And
wait, so what fluid? The cooling fluid
from coolant in the supercharger? Came out. Their car looked fine. Their car was fine, but that supercharger was gone.
They used to have bollards at all these superchargers, but now that they've sort of
opened
up the supercharging network, they had to remove the bollards so that cars that have to charge on the other side, or even Cybertrucks have to get a little bit closer.
Bollards that used to have the little blocks, the parking blocks. They're all gone.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a cool experience. I got to witness somebody take out a supercharger, which thankfully did not cause any damage. And I ended up parking like 2 superchargers over from it, and it worked fine. And it even did warn me that spot was out of commission immediately. Like,
go figure.
It's all automated, which is
really
that's
cool.
So yeah. So it straight up was like, don't use the stall; it's out of order. And I was like, you're right. I just watched it happen. So. But yeah, so highly recommend. Great experience.
I mean,
so,
I don't think we've had any real update for hardware 3 in a while. We've been on 12.6.4 or something for,
Yeah, I've had a few updates, but not to FSD. It's just
not to FSD. Yeah,
just
for like
other
a year.
features,
minor updates.
But it, for someone just going on a trip, it really reduces the cognitive load. I've done plenty of trips now to Texas and Florida, and sometimes I'll get kicked out because I don't know, I'm trying to change my route and I'm looking at the screen too much. and as soon as that happens, you're like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Oh no.
Yeah,
I'm having to actually drive.
I did get my first strike, but not during that road trip. I got it locally like a couple days ago. I got my first strike.
I got mine screwing out with Spotify. I was trying to figure out what to listen to, and it got kind of angry with me.
Exactly. So I'll end up pulling off. I'll take the next exit, and just so I can put the thing in park. So you should be able to like say I'm sorry and then let it restart instead of forcing you to pull over.
Well, I thought it told me if I do it 4 more times, they're going to remove me from FSD access completely.
Yeah.
I wonder how often they reset that.
That used to be kind of permanent until like they did some sort of update, but now it's just for like a week or something.
Yeah, it's pretty low. I mean,
but if you get the strike though, you have to park before you can re-engage FSD.
That's right.
So that's why I'm like pulling off.
So although even with a strike, you can still get call it cruise control. I mean, you can get basic throttle
like
control.
TAC, like traffic aware cruise control.
Yeah, but you can't get lane keeping.
It won't do lanes. Okay. It won't navigate, but at least it'll keep your speed constant. Yeah. And you still have to maintain control of the wheel.
And it's a little bit annoying to me that you can't actually. Sometimes I would like to down select to just stay in the lane, just be lane keeping, but you don't have an option to do that.
So I don't know if it still works. I had it set up before. There's a setting in the software, at least on my car, where I could set like, is it 1 press or 2 presses to go into autopilot, like the FSD mode? And if I change it to 2 presses, a single press does TAC, and then 2 presses does full FSD. But if you change it to it's a single press, there's no way to do the other one anymore, which is kind of silly.
Right.
Yeah. But even there's no just lane keeping. I think that 2 being single press, I think that's a little safer though, because I've been caught, and I know a lot of people just reading on the forum, they think they're in FSD and they're just in cruise control, and then the road curves, and
they don't.
So anyway, I should say, my car is hardware 3, but I did borrow a Model S for 24 hours, sort of a newer Model S from Tesla. The story is they had some kind of Christmas party for owners that I went to in Georgetown, and I think the sense is try to get the best customers are existing owners, so, and they've been trying to get me to upgrade for a while. So anyway, I went to this party, and then they had like kind of a raffle, and one of the things I won in this raffle was 48 hours with a Tesla that I could use or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. I thought that was something that for a while, that was just something that they offered, and that happened. They offered that very, very short window that they offered that, because I think people abused it pretty quickly.
They gave me an X during that window, which was
so you can choose.
I enjoyed the X.
You could choose what you'd want to get. So I was trying to get something because we had a family party for the day after Christmas that I'd have to take my dad somewhere, and he's older, he can't really walk anymore, so I have to be able to get a wheelchair. So I had to get a ramp for him to be able to get the wheelchair up, and so I was like, oh, this would be a good opportunity. Let me borrow something a little bigger that I can put this ramp in the trunk. And
Sure.
And so I wanted an S because I didn't want anything like an X where you have to kind of climb up at all. So, but they couldn't give me an S for 2 days because they only had so many of them, and apparently people were buying them. So, but 24 hours is good enough. So I just did that. So I had the S, did FSD most of the time for this drive. And I would say the main difference, I don't really notice much of a difference on the road. But the main difference is really the endpoints. What it does when you start your drive and what it does when you end your drive. So I feel like Hardware 4 now is pretty much almost a complete package. Like from the parking lot, you can just you have your destination. You just press,
exactly,
start, whatever
press
it
start,
does.
let it go.
Yeah, and it will back out of the parking spot and just go. And then when it gets to the destination, it will try to park. I feel like Hardware 3 tries to do that a bit, but it's not very successful. But Hardware 4 will actually, kind of look for a parking spot and park. Now, it wasn't perfect. Almost the whole drive I was on FSD, for the whole day I had it. But twice it missed a turn. And then I had to intervene because of that, because I don't know why it missed these turns, but it did. And it tried to do things that were kind of crazy. Here's I had to turn right onto a road and immediate left, and there's a bunch of traffic, and there's no way I was going to be able to make that immediate left, but it was still trying to do it. And it was ridiculous. And it was that bad because it had missed the first opportunity to get onto that road. And it's just okay, forget it.
I had an issue where it missed the turn and it wanted to make a U-turn to kind of correct itself, except it was trying to make the U-turn at an intersection where it's posted no U-turn. So I had to intervene and say, no, not today.
That's just a suggestion. I'm just kidding.
It's a guideline.
Yeah. So those kind of things were a little odd. And then also, so I needed to supercharge. Okay, let me just tell you. First, they give me this car, and it's a new car that supposedly they're going to sell to somebody, but it wasn't really perfect condition. There was some serious wheel rash, when the guy brought it around, the front right tire, the whole rim was scraped all the way around. And I was like, I hope they don't blame me for that. I quickly took a photo in case it came back on me. And it wasn't very charged either. They gave it to me 30%. I'm like, I got to do all this driving. And I had to just go directly to pick up my dad. So on our way to my brother's house, which was kind of a ways away, I had to stop at a supercharger. But it automatically put in where I want to stop for a supercharger. So when we got to the supercharger, it went to go park itself, but it screwed up parking because the only supercharger left was what do they call it? An accessibility one, one for what they used to call handicap.
Sideways.
It was normal. It's just you had a little wider spot. And and the handle itself had an extra sort of stability ring kind of thing to help you hold it if you're if you're weak or something. And so often those kind of spots have some slashed out space to the side of it, so you have extra space to open the door. And so it screwed up parking. I mean, basically when it tried to park, it parked in that space, which wasn't a full car width. I'm just like, what are you doing? So it parked like that, and I had to. Yeah, so it screwed up. So I had to stop and sort of repark it so I could charge. But other than that, it was pretty cool. And then when I had to return it, I was like, oh, you know what? I should try actually driving this thing for a little bit. Because I only had 3 interventions that were minor like that. And I just sort of this wasn't a plaid, and I just tested out the acceleration a bit and gave myself a headache. It was so strong. It's like you feel your gut. I feel my jowls. My face is going, and I gave myself a bit of a headache. I was like, wow, that's impressive. Yeah. And so I was looking at the pricing. The I don't know. I guess you call it the baseline Model S or whatever is some $90-something thousand. And then the plaid was only another $15K more or so. Why wouldn't you just get
more money?
Yeah, why wouldn't you just get if you're already having to spend 90 plus K?
Yeah, just
why wouldn't you just get the plaid?
Get the full package,
Yeah. But they weren't going to lend me a plaid. They said, when I asked the guys, like, oh, could I get a plaid? They said, no, we don't lend out the plaid because people crash them. I mean, I wasn't going to crash it.
I was going to say, it's probably insurance liability issue there.
Yeah. People want to actually test it out. I mean, this car itself did have like a launch control kind of thing. And I was playing with the settings, and it had, you could make selections about how it drove, like comfort. Like when you're in FSD, it defaulted into comfort, which gave it a softer suspension, and the acceleration was lower. And you could make choices like one was insane, where you could have higher acceleration, and then also something about how the steering would respond. And so those are kind of options I like. And guess what? It's really nice having. What's that?
I keep it in insane mode.
Yeah, and guess
what? You do.
it's really nice having a screen in front of you, like actually being able to see things like your speed, and I like the way it showed you when you did it, like you're changing lanes, and it showed like what's to your left or to your right.
That was new last year. It was a really nice feature. Yeah,
it's nice. It's where you're already looking, and it's kind of vignetted. It's kind of just going to put in the binnacle, and if it's on the left, it's on the left hand side. If it's a right turn, it's on the right side. And it's like, this is so logical. And I don't know how much they're saving by not having a screen in the middle, but also having that extra real estate so that you can have, your playlist and your map on the right, while you have your FSD sort of stuff in the binnacle. It's so much better. And I can't believe that, something that was supposed to be high end, like the Cybertruck, they didn't put a screen. Yeah, that's ridiculous. So anyway, but yeah, it was a good experience. I don't need to buy one, but I definitely, when I left my car there and I pull in with the Model S, it had the white interior, had the black headliner. And I got into my car. I was like, this feels a little bit like a downgrade. Normally I'm like, yeah, my car's fine. I was like, not as nice. Like just the extra space. Like on this car, for example, the center screen, the bottom of that large screen is flush with the dash,
Right.
Whereas with the Model 3 and on the Ys I've seen, that screen is proud, as if it's, a monitor is just sort of stuck there. And with my height, with my height, I actually I whack my knee like every couple months, and man, is that painful. Because you have this, even though it's a rounded edge, it's an edge, and it gets like right above the patella. Like, what can I do about this? And it was so nice having the screen, the bottom, actually nice and tucked away, so that it wasn't there for me to whack my knee on. So, anyways.
Well, that sounds exciting. I'm definitely jealous on the hardware 4. I really like, I really like my car. I love driving it. I love having the Model S Plaid, but the hardware 3 not getting the latest FSD kind of sucks.
Yeah, that would suck.
I'm still optimistic that they'll give us an upgrade eventually, or they'll downport something.
It'll come up. It'll come up in
our scorecards.
Yeah.
So.
You can get an upgrade right now. Just buy a new car.
Definitely
That's what they want.
Definitely not doing that. I don't know. Maybe I'll consider it if they give me, like a sub 1% interest large ass loan again, like they did a couple years ago, because under 2% interest.
Well, they had 0, but not for the Plaid.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say that the main thing, though, for me is that my car still is really good, right?
Yes.
And it's more of a, like, what could I sell my car for? I couldn't sell it for probably more than 30K. If I'm looking at cars about the age of my car and its features, they're somewhere in the 20,000, something 20,000, let's say 25 or whatever. I would buy my car for that price. I definitely would buy my car for that price, compared to what a new car would cost, like, 2 or 3 times that. Why would I do that? So I have this valuable thing that has more value to me than I could sell it for. So there's no reason for me to sell it.
No, I'm in the same boat. I will probably drive mine until.
And your Plaid is worth what, 40K now?
Probably not. Yeah, probably not even 50, which is ridiculous.
I was
really
teasing, but
no. It honestly, it's probably not very much because they cut the cost by 40 grand or something since I bought it new to buy a new one, so it's significantly cheaper and resale.
What year is it?
Demand
2020,
2022.
2022. It's probably still worth 60.
Realistically, probably 60, but
yeah.
But it was all in was like 150.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's rough.
So,
that's rough.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, we should get to the task at hand. It being a new year and all.
New year, 2026. All right. So 2025 predictions. How did we do? Oh boy.
Mostly
all right,
okay.
Let's go through it. So the first one I'm seeing here on the list, will another vehicle, Tesla or otherwise, dethrone the Model Y as the world's best-selling car? So in 2025, or no, this is...
So we first asked this question in 2023 for 2024.
Sure.
And so in 2024, I said no, because Model Y seemed to be going gangbusters. You said it would happen. Mike said no. And but the funny thing is about in 2020 or 2024, there's some ambiguity because we looked at it, and when we did the show last year, it looked like, the Toyota Corolla had outsold the Model Y. Right. And we were kind of surprised. Oh, the Corolla. Wow. But then, by the time we did our next show, like a month or two later, Tesla had put out some new numbers such that the Model Y stayed the big one
slightly.
Yeah. So the question was for 2025, then will Model Y, I guess, keep the top spot? We said regain because we thought it lost it, but will it keep the top spot? So Mike said no, Lewis said no, and I said yes, just to be different. So I said, okay, yeah, maybe the Model Y will keep it, but understanding the context of the perception of the brand in that year or two has really changed, right? With Elon's political stuff,
drastically changed.
And of course, now with the political situation with the subsidies and all that sort of stuff. So what's the answer?
So the answer from what I've read is the Model Y is still the top selling EV SUV. However,
SUV?
Yeah, it's considered SUV. If you look at the brand Tesla, then it's not. The was it BYD it sells the most volume.
Well, okay, so that certainly has happened. Is that it used to be that Tesla was the best selling EV brand in the world.
That's not true anymore.
And that's no longer true. BYD has surpassed them, even though BYD doesn't even sell in the US. So that's the correct. Rest of the world, and against Tesla, which who's able to sell pretty much everywhere, it's kind of a big deal. Tesla's as a brand has definitely fallen a lot in the US, a lot in Europe.
If you look at just a slice and say the Model Y, then it's still number one.
But I'm trying to understand these qualifications though, because before it was just the best-selling vehicle or the best-selling car. That to say SUV is a much smaller thing than vehicle.
It was the best-selling vehicle, was my understanding for previous years.
Yeah,
but it's not now.
Really? So Tesla has said that the Model Y is still the best-selling vehicle in the world in 2025. That at least that's what I think I saw them say on Twitter. But I didn't see anything to back that up. Or I think they even said it in this. They released something, for Q4 with all their numbers, which really was not looking great, and it was making predictions for next year's and stuff by certain analysts or whatever. So I'm not sure I'm really convinced if maybe we'll have a better answer in a couple.
Yeah,
we all know
what I saw
can say anything you want them to say depending on how you tweak it. So
yeah,
right. What I saw from looking things up was it was the RAV4. So the Toyota RAV4 was the third best and now is the first best. Like it moved up 2 slots and basically dethroned the Corolla.
For SUV.
SUV or
vehicle?
Vehicle. So the RAV4 sold more than a Corolla?
Again, that's what I saw when I looked.
Okay.
But
we see, around here, there's a bazillion of the RAVs running around. I mean,
who knows?
Everywhere.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens again, this is worldwide. I wasn't looking at the US. So I don't know.
Well, that's even more surprising, right? Because the rest of the world isn't so SUV heavy or whatever. So
I mean, if you're talking US, even in the times when the Model Y was the best selling, it was still an F-150, right?
Yeah.
For a vehicle. So even 2 years ago, it was the F-150. Like, it's
not
even close.
I think the way they put it was car, and they included, car means things that aren't a truck.
Right.
So, all right. Well,
we'll know better in the next few months as the numbers get finalized.
We'll tentatively say that it held it, which gives me the point. But, okay, so what do we say for 2026? Will the Model Y keep or regain the top spot? And we'll say the top vehicle that's not a truck. We'll put it that way.
I say no. I think it's going to
still say no.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with no also. Mainly because, I mean, look, the Chinese are doing so well, and if BYD is able to sell so well without even selling here, and I've seen reviews, Model Y is now kind of a class of vehicles. There are at least 4 different types of Ys now, right? There's your standard Y, which are okay. So that might change things because you can go a little further down market. There's what they're calling, what do they call it? The premium, which is what was just the normal Model Y, but Highland or whatever,
long range,
or Juniper, I guess it was called. Last year, just came out in 2025, and then there's the performance. There's standard, premium, performance, and then also in Asia they have the YL, which is longer or whatever. But I've seen, and it's doing well, but I've seen lots of reviews in China, and they're like this, they're not impressed with the YL compared to what they can get from other manufacturers for the same price. Like they can get much more fancy, much more luxury for the Chinese market. Now there may be other considerations that we have that they don't have as much. Like they may be less safety oriented. Like they sell different classes of vehicles that we don't allow here. Like in the US, anything that goes over 25 miles an hour has to be able to, slam into something at 60 and have everybody survive or whatever. So I don't know how things might be different in those markets, but I don't think the Y is good enough compared to all the competition that's happening. So anyway, we all said no, but
we're all in agreement.
No. But I do want Tesla to succeed. So I hope they can do something to turn that around. Like again, my suggestion always is with this YL, just square off the back so you can actually get more people in the vehicle, make it more of a people mover, and then more of the soccer moms will want it. So
that's really why Pacifica, the Chrysler product, keeps selling. It's dated. It's been around since 2017, and they sell every one of them they can make. It's your basic soccer mom van. I mean, there's a market for it.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Oh, well. Sugi?
Let's see. So next question. Let's see. We did how many Cybertrucks will be on the road? So originally it was 2024, right? Is how we asked it. And so I think
I recently listened to the last episode, so I'm sort of updated on how we answered, and we had a kind of a convoluted way of answering the question because we put it in ranges. But basically, we were all right for 2024. That they would have within by the first quarter they'd have a couple thousand, and they did, and so by the end of 2024 they had around 40K Cybertruck sold. And so we didn't actually really make, just the way the conversation went, we didn't actually make predictions for 2025. But so let's just ask the question though, and someone look it up. How many actually sold? How many Cybertrucks sold in 2025? Now the prediction, Tesla was gearing up to sell 250,000 a year.
Right.
So how did they do in 2025?
There's no way they did that many.
They missed it. They missed it
by a factor of 10.
So the numbers I found was between 16,000 and 20,000 in total for the year of 2025. I think the most optimistic number was about 25,000. But yeah, they kind of.
I think what I saw was the last reported number was like around 16,000, but that was in October. So they didn't know how there was a projection. That
well, keep in mind, I mean, they're selling them to SpaceX and everybody else now too. So
it looks like SpaceX, like as a fleet vehicle or something.
They picked up a couple thousand. Yeah,
it seems like they took at least 1,000. I mean, there's so many. I've seen pictures of like the parking lot's completely full there, and I don't know if those are sold or just stored. Since of course we've seen them stored all over the country in various parking lots. So it's hard to say. It's not a great place to store them either. You're close to the Gulf. And it's kind of, salty there, but man, so not so great.
So let's just sort of look at it this way. Even if you were super optimistic and said they sold 25,000, which we don't think they did. They sold less than that.
But
and even if
they wanted 250,000.
That SpaceX and whoever, bought them, they wanted 10 times that at least. And also, it's less than they sold the first year when they came out, where they couldn't even make them very fast.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
That's one of the worst things you can have with a brand new car is to release a model and have it go down year over year by that much. Think about it. I mean,
this year they've got all the improvements from the first year, so in theory they're better. They kind of solve some.
Well, they're less bad, is the way.
I said they're better. I didn't say they were perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, right? And they even obfuscate the numbers, right?
They don't break it out separately.
They toss it in with the X and
the X, the S, and the Cybertruck are all bundled together.
I don't know what you say about it, except to say that that's a failure. So here's the real question then for 2026: will Tesla cancel the Cybertruck? Because that's what rational actors do. Ford, they canceled that F-150 Lightning.
Yep, they did.
Now they could bring it back. And Tesla could bring back the Cybertruck too, but I don't know. It just doesn't.
I don't think they're going to cancel it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I feel like a sensible company would consider canceling it. But they're not like Elon.
You think there's too much ego there?
I don't think he can admit that he was wrong. The other thing is, like, what does canceling give them, right? Because, like, for example,
they can off. They can write off the loss.
But I mean, they currently make Model S and X, and they don't sell very many, right?
Yeah.
It's like, tens of thousands, low tens of thousands.
Yeah. So they sold more. Did they sell more Cybertrucks than they did S and X last year? I don't know.
That's a good question. I would assume yes, but I don't know.
Yeah. From what I can tell on the numbers, the answer is yes.
Okay. Well, and they still sell those. So I get, but the thing is that the Cybertruck is so unique. So here's the thing that they should do is that they should take the S and X and actually update them so that they share some parts, so that they get the
discounted volume,
the steer by wire and the 48 volt stuff, all the tech that's actually cool in the Cybertruck. And so because otherwise the Cybertruck has all those unique parts, and it becomes a very expensive vehicle to make, more so than the S and X, right?
If you can spread that across the other product lines,
right.
Yeah. So that's what the traditional manufacturers do. I mean, they share components throughout the product line.
Yeah. And, and that's what Tesla has obviously been doing with the 3 and the Y. Things haven't really been working like that. What's the battery size? The 40 something 96. I forget the numbers now, but
4680.
4680
save the world that they contract back to like 1% of the original's order.
So that hasn't quite worked out, but that's what's in the Cybertruck. And for a short time, that was in some Model Ys, I thought. But that apparently wasn't cost effective. So I don't know if they can get that stuff together and,
And my understanding though, like, and they can't use it for the S, especially, or the X, especially the plaids, because it can't do the power output. So
yeah,
it's even limited in what they can use it for. But
I'm assuming, Lewis, when you're on power output, you're talking about like, total dump.
Correct.
Yeah, power. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally just the amount of raw
energy
power
per unit second.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so I don't know. Like, it makes me, again, I don't think they'll cancel it. I think they're gonna have to figure out how to make it more economical to maintain and support. Maybe with the robo taxi or the cyber cab vehicle or something.
I almost disagree. In fact, I will disagree. I will officially disagree with you. I think they will cancel it because I think they need the capital. I think they need the capital for the robotaxi project. I mean, there's a finite amount of capital in any company, and if you're trying to launch something like the robotaxi and you've got the Cybertruck, which is an abysmal failure, you make the choice. And I think right now the robotaxi's got Elon's full attention. The Cybertruck is a has-been.
I would say cars in general are kind of
we're focused on the truck right now.
Moved on to other things. So
Optimus.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah. I mean, but that's off the topic. So
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to agree with Lewis and say that they're not going to cancel it because it's just there's too much ego there, and
he's got to share his ego between the other two projects. So
Elon doesn't admit defeat. He'll just double down until it's actually what he wants to be true is true. So like every year it's effectively a lie, right? But eventually it might be true. So he'll just keep saying it until it is true.
But at some point, reality is going to intrude because there's a limited amount of space you can store Cybertrucks that nobody wants to buy.
Well, no,
they don't have to keep making them. They can
they're going to scale down production. I don't think they're going to lose any more money on them. Like they'll
sell 100 a month, call it good.
They sell. Yeah,
but spare parts.
Yeah.
Jesus, so the question is what canceled mean. I doubt it'll be officially canceled, but they probably got enough inventory sitting around that they can, if you want one, you can get one. And,
but you have to keep the line open to do that.
Do you? If you have them,
they're already made.
If they're sitting around, if they can give you a discount on the SpaceX one. Yeah.
So, alrighty. So moving Doug and I say no. Mike says yes. Let's go for it.
Yes.
All right. So let's see. Next question. Will Tesla deliver the next gen Roadster 2.0 in?
Oh, get rid of the 2.0.
Okay. No, the next gen Roadster. Yeah.
Not a chance.
Next gen Roadster. So we all said no in 2025. We were right. We all said no in 2024. We were right. 2026. Absolutely not. I'm still standing by that. What do you think? Doug?
I'm with you.
A chance.
They're okay. Just by their own admission, they will not deliver it in 2026. The last time we got any update on this was I think it was at the shareholder meeting, which was very late last year in November of 2005. I think it was November 6th or something. Look, they said, we're gonna have an unveiling of the. You already unveiled it back in 2017, but we're going to unveil it.
Real unveiling.
And you said that was going to be by the end of 2024. Well, that came and went. And they said by the end of 2025, that came and went. Then at that shareholder meeting, he said on April 1st, and I feel like he said on April 1st, just so he could say it's a joke or not, or even what we see is a joke or not, just like that dancing Optimus when that first got unveiled.
Indeed.
So we'll see. So he said then that they would have a new unveiling on April 1st, delivery starting in 2027. 2027. That will be 10 years after people gave $250,000 for this thing.
That's obscene.
So yeah. So it definitely won't deliver in 2026. I think the question probably should be, will there actually be this unveiling in 2026?
I think they will. I think
there may be an unveiling.
I think part of what's happening, and I think the same idea will come back again later on other products, But Tesla is used to being somehow the best, or being able to claim the best, the fastest,
Right.
or whatever.
But that's a moving target.
That is a moving target. Well, it used to be there, no one else was selling a proper EV.
But that's not true today.
And that was easy. Now they are. And of course, what BYD has done with the Yang, I forget what their sub brand is, Yang something, some Chinese word, that, is doing amazing stuff, and also jumps over potholes and has a record
rivers.
What's going to set this thing apart, and the stuff he's talked about, is like, it will fly and it will have coal gas thrusters. Well, okay, but none of that's street legal. And he's even said safety isn't even the priority now. It's like as if this is not a safe vehicle, which, safety should be a brand thing for Tesla. So the thing is, who really wants that, right? People want a sports car. They don't want some science experiment.
Sell you a death trap that has no warranty and no safety.
So I don't know. The thing is, they do need to deliver. It's been too long. They do need to deliver something. Just deliver a car, okay?
Yeah, I agree with you.
On the cold gas thrusters and whatnot.
I think the Chinese manufacturers have basically caught up, and they're able to push the envelope much faster and further because lack of regulation, lower costs, all kinds of other factors,
and no qualms about corporate espionage either. Right?
Exactly. So. They've already got EVs that are over 3,000 horsepower and stuff like that. Like the Roadster was not going to be 3,000 horsepower. It was not going to be you know what I mean? They're already at the point now where you're not going to release something that's going to outperform those vehicles. So just release what you originally promised. A cool 2-seat sports car that's more powerful than a Plaid, or maybe as powerful, but much lighter, or whatever your factor is. But that's what they should go for. And all the extra nonsense is just delaying. But I think they've delayed so long that he feels more obligated that he's got to add more stuff to it. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm interested to see whatever update we get this year. Will be cool to see. I definitely think they will have something to show. But definitely not releasing this year.
Yeah, definitely not.
Maybe not even releasing next year. We'll have to see what they promise.
The current. I mean, they keep moving the goalposts, right? The current promise is delivery in 2025, and will we actually see it in 2026? So let's get us down here. So what are we saying? Will we see it in 2026?
An unveiling?
Yeah.
Yes, I think we will.
Yes. Unveil. Will they actually sell it? No.
Technically, they've already sold it.
Yeah.
Well, technically, you're right. I mean, there's deposits and all that.
Okay. Well, let's.
Will they deliver?
Will they deliver? Let's just say this, and we're asking now. We can update it next year if we want, but will they deliver in 2027?
No,
probably not. But it's hard to say. I'd have to see what they're going to promise.
I think between all the other things going on, I don't see where they've got the bandwidth or the finances for it.
Okay, I'm going to
sell some more stock. They got plenty of money.
Let's see that if they do. It'll be the thing about. I hope we actually see something next year. But yeah, geez.
You want to see those jets? Yeah.
Oh, I'm morbidly curious.
Morbidly.
I mean, I do want to see what they end up doing. I mean, it could be some pretty cool things. It just doesn't make any sense, though. I got
a one-off show car, concept car, sure, but to sell it, no.
I'm gonna go to my Praxair supplier and get some LN2 to recharge the things. It's just not that.
You think buying hydrogen gas is a problem?
Yeah, that's much harder. LN2 is actually pretty easy because it gets used a lot in the food industry, and
but you got to get into the car.
That's easier than hydrogen. Hydrogen is
a
lot colder. Hydrogen is like around 20 Kelvin. LN2 is 77 degrees Kelvin, so that's not anywhere near as bad.
Practically warm. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's a huge difference. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, your issues kind of go at like the black.
You guys remind me talking about superconductivity, whether you have to have the super cold superconductivity or room temperature superconductivity.
We never called it room temperature. We always called it high temperature. And
high temperature, known as super cold.
And high temperature was higher than 10 Kelvin. That's what high temperature was. Because I mean, you can like metals, like aluminum, and then maybe not aluminum. But
I wouldn't go there.
Well, you can if you get cold enough. Aluminum will be superconducting, but niobium, and that's what we use in like the particle accelerators and whatnot.
Yeah, the magnets.
If you get down to 4 Kelvin, which is the steady state liquid temperature of helium,
pretty chilly.
Then 4 Kelvin. So and we use helium. It's safe, but also a non-renewable resource.
Yes,
so,
that's true.
You get it from mining it,
and it leaves the atmosphere,
and it goes away. Yeah, it goes up and it gets blown away by the solar wind. But you get it from
Bucky balloons with it.
Yeah, you guys do party balloons and all that sort of stuff, but you get it from radioactive decay, which is a very slow process. So when you drill for oil, above the oil there tends to be a pocket of natural gas, and above that is a pocket of helium. And it's be scary when we're out of it because you kind of need it for
for a lot of stuff,
research.
Yep. Alrighty, let's see.
Moving on.
So next question: this one was for 2025. So will Tesla add the turn signal stock on front camera to the Model S3 and X?
So this came up because in 2025, with it was
Highland.
Is it Highland or Juniper? Which one was Juniper?
It was Highland. They pulled the stocks off.
It was Highland. They pulled it off. So Juniper, they brought it back.
They brought it back. One.
So the question was, and then also the Cybertruck got a front camera. So the question is, would these show up on the other vehicles, like to bring them all in line? And certainly, like Tesla basically has admitted that removing the stock was a dumb idea.
Because now there's a retrofit kit for Highland,
and there's a retrofit kit for the Model 3s. So the question is in 2025, right? So Lewis, you said yes. Mike said yes. I said no. I'm not quite sure what the answer is, because certainly I think that is the plan. So I think that is the plan. I'm just not sure if they're done yet.
So technically the answer is yes, because of the or in the statement.
Yeah, the or.
Turn signal stock or front camera. And they've definitely done the
Boolean logic at play here.
But yes, they also started to do the turn signal stock, and it looks like they're going to be just doing that.
They're going to be keeping it.
So in that Model S that I borrowed, and it was supposed to be a pretty new car, it had the front camera. So that was nice. It did not have the turn signal stock, and it was kind of annoying having to press the button. But honestly, it was on FSD most of the time, so it was only an issue once or twice. So
I mean, why didn't even have a steering wheel, right?
So I don't know if they plan that for the S or the X, because those are those lower volume vehicles. I'm not sure if they're bringing it back for those guys. But I know it's in the plan for the 3. What's that? What'd you say, Mike?
Did you have a wheel or a yoke?
It was a wheel. I was hoping for a yoke.
Okay.
But I think they made the wheel standard.
Yes,
and they made the yoke an option.
Upcharge.
So that was another backtrack.
The X I drove had a yoke.
I love my yoke.
Maybe it was just too short a time, but I did not like it.
I wanted it because I grew up watching Knight Rider, and also I wasn't touching the wheel that much, but I still, because of my height, have visibility issues because of that top bar.
Yeah.
So I was really wanting that to be gone so that I could just kind of see this nice binnacle that I don't have in my normal car.
Yeah, be honest. You just want to relive your childhood. That's all. Yeah.
Well, that too. Yeah. I mean, I never lived that. I wanted not relive. I wanted to live the fantasy of my childhood. Live it at all. So, and
well, now with Grok in your car, you can talk to it. And
that's true.
Got FSD, so it'll drive itself.
I have to tell you,
You know,
oh, here it comes.
I try that in the car. So we'll go back to me talking about this car. It's so here's a couple, so I mentioned that it has some scrapes in it. Another thing was that it was saying, oh, there's a new update to download. And I'm like annoyed they didn't have it on the most recent.
Well, they're trying to give you the most immersive feeling and experience,
Okay, so I wanted to actually update the thing.
Why didn't you?
I tried. So I brought it back. I brought it back here, and I tried to connect to my Wi-Fi.
Sure.
And I kept saying, oh, it wouldn't get a it couldn't get what is it? SMTP. It couldn't get it couldn't get an IP address.
Couldn't send an email? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean SMTP. What do they call it with the assigning of an IP address? What is that?
DHCP
IP address.
Yeah, DHCP.
That.
That DHCP. That's right. I'm sorry. And it wouldn't get an IP address, so it couldn't connect to my Wi-Fi. I'm like, oh, that sucks.
I wonder if that
and so then I was someplace else, and I like I was at when I was supercharging it. I was like, oh, maybe I can at least download, because a lot of these superchargers have
Wi-Fi,
some Wi-Fi. It wouldn't connect. Then I tried my own phone, like my hotspot.
Sure.
And it wouldn't get it. So something's wrong with the car, because I've tried all these things that definitely work.
They may have put it into a static IP with the intent of it only updating at the service center.
That would be stupid.
To keep people like you from doing exactly what you were trying to do.
Update the software? Update their own software? Do them a favor?
It's a liability, man. It's a liability.
Is it? Of their own software?
I think it was just misconfigured.
Any lawyer could make an argument it's liability. I mean,
any lawyer can make any argument.
If you bricked the car or something went wrong with the software.
I assume it was a mistake and was not on purpose.
Anyway,
I like my conspiracy theory.
Okay, well, you get in your corner and keep that. Yeah, it was annoying to me that it wouldn't.
Nobody puts Mike in the corner.
Okay, is he gonna run across the basketball court and you're gonna catch him and spin him around?
That's right.
So yeah, I tried hard to update it, because there are some things that they had advertised, like like when you get to a supercharger, it like gives you this 3D view of like, the occupancy of the various stalls and stuff. And I really wanted to be on the most recent software, since this is stuff I have no access to in hardware 3.
Sure.
And so it's sad I couldn't get that. But I was able to play with like, this like photo booth thing and some other and it had the Tron, Ares stuff.
I hate that Tron thing. I really do.
Okay, well, I'm fine with it. I thought it was kind of cool. The music.
I like the visual, but I hated the sound effects. Like when I hit the blinker.
I didn't get to experience all that.
The blink. Yeah.
I turned it on and was like, wow, this is dumb. And then I turned it off. I didn't like it. Okay, it looks nice and it was neat, but it's such a gimmick.
It looks nice.
My wife actually made me turn on the Santa mode back on, because she likes that
Christmas time
during Christmas.
I only thought to look at that stuff after I'd already brought it back. And so I'm in the Tesla parking lot just playing with that stuff. So I didn't actually get to drive with it.
I did the photo booth once, and my daughter and I were in the car playing with it. It's like, what the hell? Why is this here?
Well, again, like the interior camera is much better. Oh, and another thing I noticed, like, the things I complain about in my car, like how that camera was such an afterthought. It's not positioned right. And there's no infrared illumination. There is an infrared illumination in that Model S. It's got two. You can't see them in the daytime, but when if you hold up your camera,
you can see
your phone can see it, and you see two dots on either sides of the camera. It's like, okay, they're actually thinking about this stuff, and getting that front camera that I'd asked for. So these are the things that I'd been wanting. So I'm glad that there was that progress there.
Yeah, they're definitely improving it, but that does remind me of one of the annoyances I had during my road trip. Was that like multiple times at different points, it would disengage the driver attention system, and I wasn't wearing sunglasses. Like, even if I was just doing it normal, like no conditions were okay, it would just randomly decide like, I can't pay attention to.
Was this at nighttime?
And I'm like, no, middle of the day. No,
I'm not sure that your car has the LEDs.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah.
But what was weird was what I saw is it didn't seem to matter if I wore sunglasses or not. because I started experimenting. I wanted to see like, why is this happening?
Yeah,
I started going like, where's the sunlight?
Where your head is.
I was like, let me move like the shade to change the lighting on my face. I tried to sit where like my head was in the same, and it would just be fine, and then it would just cut out randomly, and then it would come back. It didn't do it all the time, but it happened a couple times, and it was really annoying. But anyway, because then once it does that, then you have to touch the wheel and torque it all. Like it starts complaining.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because the Y did that occasionally. Even with hardware 4, it would occasionally kind of flip and tell me it was disengaging.
But I didn't recall having this problem before. Like this was granted.
No,
I haven't done a road trip, so I feel like it was a newer thing where it started disengaging. But what I did notice was even with my sunglasses on, even though I'm almost certain I don't have an IR camera, I certainly don't have the IR emission. It didn't act like it couldn't tell. So like, because before if I put sunglasses on, it would immediately disengage and say sunglasses. I can't track your eyes.
Oh really?
It doesn't do that anymore. It now just does it based on head orientation if I have my sunglasses on. So
yeah.
Well, if you want to freak out, just pick your phone up.
Oh, dude. I you know what? I noticed that though, which is funny. I can do other things that are distracting and it doesn't complain.
Yeah.
But if it thinks you have a phone, it goes bananas. But like I was like, oh, I got a drink and I'm eating food and I'm doing all these other things.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give a shit that I'm not that I'm not looking and that I'm not paying attention. Like it was totally fine. If I just take up my phone and I just pick it up for like a split second, immediately starts flipping out. I'm like, all right, they train the model to look for phones.
I'm literally driving to Vegas. I got a bowl of popcorn and I'm feeding my face and it doesn't care.
It didn't care. Yeah, I was eating food while it was driving down the highway. I'm just like, cool, I'm eating. I don't give a shit, like whatever. And it was fine. Didn't complain at all. I was like, okay.
Now with your wife in the car, so on my last road trip, my youngest was in the car and she was playing around with her phone in the passenger seat. And the car completely flipped because it was accusing me of having the phone out. It was really the passenger that had the phone out.
I should know the difference.
I don't think mine did that. Not that she used her phone much in the car, probably.
Yeah.
But when she did, it didn't seem to have any issue.
Mine was 17, so the phone's like hermetically sealed to her hand.
Well,
I think she did the Steam Deck for a little while, but the phone as well. Anyway,
the phones are, that's something they've definitely trained on, right? So
for sure, no question.
Anyways,
good times. All right, so back to the questions. Let's see. So will Tesla unveil a brand new model? Something they do not sell.
So did we have a real answer on the stock and stuff? So we're saying
I think we all said. Yeah, I think we all said yes, basically, or you said.
Doug said no.
I'm just wondering what the current state is then. So
they're definitely doing the front cameras.
Yep,
and they're at least doing the stocks on some of the models,
on the 3
or retrofitting them. I mean, you can go either way now.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair to say that yes, they are.
I don't think you'll ever get the shifter stock back, but I think the turn.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, I don't think the shifter's required. I think it's completely fine without it. To be honest.
Yeah.
But the turn signal would be nice. But yeah. So okay. So next question: will they unveil a brand new model, something they do not currently sell, have not sold in the past, or have not announced they will sell? And so we did it in 2024. I said no. Doug said he hopes not. Mike said no, and the answer was yes. They revealed the Cybercab robotaxi.
Well,
speaking is hard, but they didn't actually release it. But they did unveil.
I don't think
we did say
it's not a release,
unveil in the. But we did say unveil in the thing.
Let's get the nomenclature right. So I think the way they're doing it now, even though they're mixed up with it before, is that the Cybercab is the vehicle. That gold-looking 2-seater thing.
Yep.
And then robotaxi is either the
Model Y that they're
service,
using. Yeah.
Or right. So the Cybercabs will act as robotaxis. Oddly enough, Tesla has failed to get the trademark on either of those. And they tried.
I read that.
They failed. They tried to get robotaxi, but it's too generic of a term that other people can use the word robotaxi, like the Waymos. Those are robotaxis. And then apparently they screwed up getting Cybercab because they had their Wii robot event, which I think maybe that's where they unveiled or near around there, they unveiled the word cybercab, and then like they still hadn't gotten it, and like 2 weeks later, some other company managed to squat the trademark on it. So I don't know what kind of ship they're running there. Like that had to be somebody's job.
That's a mistake.
So I don't know what they're gonna do.
It's the inmates running the asylum.
So yeah. So going back to the question, in 2024, the answer was yes. They did technically unveil the Cybercab,
which is a new car. Yeah,
the new car. In 2025, I said probably no. Doug said no, but they should refresh and release a van, which you've been saying for a while.
Never happened.
Which I agreed. Mike says they'll build a van based on the Y. And so the answer for 2025.
Well, that's the YL, right?
Isn't that the YL?
A van. Nice try, Mike.
I think the answer is no.
To be fair, he did say they'll build a van based on the Model Y, and they did make a slightly bigger Model Y.
They made a bigger Model Y.
Yeah,
but
no.
I'm gonna still say no, not a van.
But also,
you guys are harsh.
But also, in the style of the question, it's not a new model, is it?
No, it's a refinement.
Yeah. So no, there were no new models in
2026. So 2025, we all said no, basically, and we were right. There was not one. 2026, what are we thinking?
No. I'm sticking with no.
I don't know, man. If they care about cars at all. Okay, so first
they do.
First stipulation. Is it required for Elon to get part of his pay package?
No.
No, I think it is. Isn't there some requirement about
not for a new model
cars?
No.
Or are they just robotaxis?
It's just the robotaxis.
Oh, hell. Well, here,
nice
let's how about this? There have been cybercab like things spotted in Palo Alto and in Austin, but they all had steering wheels. And so
okay,
is that and so it feels like the company has vacillated a bit on this what we've been calling the Model 2.
The Model 2, yeah.
And Isaacson had said that that they had convinced him that the Model 2 would just be would be a version of what they end up calling the cybercab, what they used to call robotaxi. Yeah, big mess. So and then Elon said, no, we're not doing it. Okay, but it kind of looks like they are if it's got a steering wheel. So
huge strategic mistake.
I don't know what they're doing. So, but if they sell a car, are we going to count that? I guess no, huh? That we should just call it.
I would say it's still the cybercab.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, it depends. If they do them separately, then maybe you could count it.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Well, I saw someone calling it the cyber car.
Cybercar.
Really dumb,
I mean, so what I would say is, will they? Maybe yes. So so I can be different and say they will. Should they? No, I don't think they should. I think they need to fix some things. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Probably not, but maybe they might unveil some other model just for hype, right? Because if you think about it from a stock market hype,
what's he going to hype?
Boosting the company.
What's he going to hype? What's he going to hype? Really?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, so he might come up with some other bullshit to hype the stock further. He's got to juice it somehow, right?
I guess.
So I don't know what that would be, but yeah, they might release some updated reveal.
He's got the 3 and the Y. He's got the Roadster with the super fancy jet motors and everything else. He's got the Apocalypse Now truck. I mean, he's running out of features to sell as a new vehicle.
Oh, look, I'll say it again. The way he redeems the Cybertruck is he, uses the same line, same technology, and just, round it off a little bit and square off the back and make it a people mover.
A little more truck-like or more people mover?
More people mover. So like a R1T or whatever. I'm saying the R1S, the Rivian R1S. Yeah.
Yes. But what if, so here I'm going to propose something. What if they take the Cybertruck and they make it a little bit more truck-like? Since the Lightning is gone, there's technically some potential in the market to go after, the pickup truck crew.
Well, it's not just the Lightning. I mean, the Dodge. I mean, they've all dropped. The EV trucks.
I think the lesson of the Lightning,
the technology's not there.
Well, the report I saw was that
culture's not there.
Yeah, it's culture. They looked at who was buying the Lightning, and what they found are there were people that weren't already truck owners. And so the way Ford looked at that was like, wow, we're actually acquiring new and maybe not even previous Ford owners. So with the Lightning, we're acquiring new drivers, like, oh, this is great. This is like we're adding more people to our segment.
These are conquest sales,
I guess, but I think the real lesson was that, the people that are buying these aren't truck buyers, aren't truck drivers. They're just other people. So the Lightning wasn't something that truck drivers wanted. And I think that may be the same with, say, the Cybertruck. I mean, these aren't really truck drivers. They're maybe a small percentage of them are, but they're people that, I want this interesting, crazy looking SUV or EV thing. So so I don't think you're really tapping into that big, Ford F-150 sells so many. And so I think that it's just a different market altogether. So it was different people that bought that Lightning as opposed to, all these big truck owners. And it failed at some things, especially towing, where you have no control over the arrow of what you're towing. And then your range is much worse. And then you're dealing with, how do I charge, and do I have to unhitch to charge, and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think making the Cyber cab, Cybertruck, making that more truck-like is necessarily going to help.
It's going to have the same problems that all the rest have.
I did at some point. I mean, I do think it would sell more if it like on its own was a little less polarizing in how it looked. But I think if it's not really truck drivers that are getting it. If they made it more of a, suburban type, big SUV, people mover, soccer mom type thing, and turn that into seats and turn that into people that like also those.
So you want it to be the Canyonero.
Canyonero, yeah,
exactly.
Actually, that one.
See, you guys are like really. I'm thinking much more basic. I think if the glued on panels would just stay in place, they might actually sell more. But
I think they're past that. I don't think.
I have to say, one of my best friends has an F-150 Lightning, and he loves it. And he is a truck guy. He's a Florida. We call him Florida man in our friend group, right? Lives in Florida. He's a truck guy, but he also works in tech. So he's that weird intersection.
He's a blend of the
techie geek that's also into like truck stuff. But anyway, he loves his Lightning. So
does he ever tow anything?
Probably not. See, that's probably the big difference. But here's the thing. I would argue, having lived in Texas for many years on several occasions, Kentucky and Pennsylvania, and having lived and worked on farms, like I used to drive, F-350 diesel dualies and like do a horse trailer, all that kind of stuff. Most people that own trucks never tow anything. Most people that own trucks don't actually use them for work. I think it's an identity thing. I think it's a culture thing.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a huge ton of people that do it for work. There's a huge ton of people, even when I worked in construction, a ton of us, people had trucks. They never towed anything. They were just a carpenter, electrician or whatever. It's their identity. They have a pickup truck. They have whatever, right?
Yeah. So part of that identity is probably people that are less likely to be interested in EVs.
Agreed. And so that I agree with. I think culturally, it's just not an attractive offer. And if you did care and you have money, Rivian is the choice, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, cool. Alrighty. So again, just to be clear, Doug, you're saying no new model. Mike, you're saying no new model revealed this year.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
And I'll just to be different. I can say yes. I'll say that there is, just like Doug does. Sometimes.
It's a free world.
Again, I think that's what they should do. That's why.
So you think they should do it, but do you think they will?
I don't know.
Come on.
It's the point of the prediction. Pick a choice.
Yeah. the thing is, it's so easy for them because it's so ridiculous. So easy for this. Oh, we're going to show something, and this is something we're going to sell. And
I think they're going to do it to hype their stock. That's the only reason I
feel like they might do it. Okay. And hopefully it'll be they already showed the Robovan, which is ridiculous, right?
Robovan.
The Robovan. It's just it
looks very
the dumbest
stupid.
thing. It's the dumbest thing. At least what they showed is completely impractical
there.
I will say I did think it was funny, speaking of how dumb and how things look. When I was in Kansas City, part of my Christmas, whatever, doesn't matter. Had to drop the dogs off at the mother-in-law's house while we were in Italy. I did have a guy there that saw my car and basically was like, wow, that's the first Tesla I've seen that actually looks good. Like, he's one of those traditional, doesn't like the look of a Tesla. They look too rounded and too, too weird. Whereas
the S looks more like a sports car.
The S looks more aggressive and looks like, so I did get that comment. So to Doug's point, there are, the look of the Robovan, I agree, is somebody who even likes other Teslas and how they look. I didn't think it met the mark. And so I think they need to do some improvement there.
Something real quick that was funny.
Doug still hasn't answered yes or no, by the way.
I said yes.
He said yes. He landed on yes.
I put yes. I just got to show this picture real quick. Let's see. Let's see. Where's share screen?
Yeah, TMC podcast unfiltered.
After dark.
I thought this was really funny. So let's see, how do I do this? Like this? I saw this in London while I was on the bus.
Was that a stick-on grill?
It is a Model 3 with something to make it kind of look like an S.
It's a stick-on. It's a sticker.
It's got some stickers to make it kind of look like an S. But if I'm not sure if
should have blurred out their license plate. But anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See,
you just made their day now. Yeah,
you can see whatever. But you can see their the handles. It's a 3, but they're trying to make it look like an S.
That's pretty funny. So totally agree.
My Model 3 identifies as an S.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Alrighty. Next question. Will Tesla offer FSD transfers? So in 2024. I said yes, Doug said no, and Mike, we didn't have an answer, apparently. 2025, Doug said yes as needed. I said same, and then Mike also did not have an answer. Were you there, Mike? You were there.
I thought I was there.
Yeah,
you were there. I don't know.
I didn't get a solid answer from you, but
okay.
But we didn't. But
so 2026, maybe we can frame the question a little bit differently. Go ahead.
Okay, we have to be careful because they have offered transfers in a limited format.
Right.
Yeah, limited format. It's fine. That's as long as they offer it at all, and
they have.
They definitely will.
They've allowed people to buy up.
Yeah,
buy a new Tesla, and they'll move their FSD. But it's
always they'll pretend like it's a limited time thing, and then they'll do it again.
For sure.
I mean, it's at this point. I mean, who are the people, right? I guess a good question is
all you Hardware 3 people.
When Hardware 5 comes out, I'll consider it.
Yeah. So. It's definitely, I mean, they definitely will just keep offering it. Somebody asked, I did, several times has asked, can you just make this all the time or whatever? And also, again, at that shareholder meeting, someone asked, will you allow transfers again? And
it should have just been a given at this stage.
And Elon acted in this last meeting. Someone asked, will you allow transfers again? And Elon asked it, okay, yeah, as if he's being some big concession. I think they literally already were offering it at the time when that person asked that question. But the real reveal was like a year or two prior at the shareholder meeting when someone asked, can you just make this permanent? And Elon paused for a long time and he said, well, we have to make money somehow. Which they make the money on people rebuying
literally free
software over and over again. So.
Yeah.
So it's a standard, what's it called? Business pattern, right? Of having different level licenses and other types of stuff, right? Why do coupons exist? It's because really the price is whatever you're going to get out of the person.
Yeah.
So anybody that's willing to wait, like, so anybody that would say, I would do it, except I need to transfer, they'll just do it when they open up the transfers and they make it exclusive. But it'll be all the time, right? It'll be every this sale, that sale, whatever. And then all the rest of the time, anybody that's willing to spend the money, they'll take your free money. Like, so I agree. I think effectively it is always going to be available, just not 24/7, 365. It's going to be like every quarter, the last, month or whatever,
Well,
right?
I would also say that if you could get lucky enough to reach a person when you're trying to buy like a new Tesla and ask them, they'll probably do it.
Right.
To close the deal, regardless of whether it's official or not.
Right.
Yeah,
If you might be able to swing that. Yeah.
I wanted to read this comment. At 1951, MW said,
Yeah.
I totaled my Model 3 and they transferred to a new Model 3. That
makes sense.
That's actually, well, it makes sense. It's obvious, but like I know people over the years that have bought, whatever, and bought like Model S's. Maybe this was before the 3 or something. That's not quite right. But anyway, people had Model S's and then their car got totaled and they had to buy FSD again.
Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, that's terrible, right? And especially since back then they were selling a product, it was like FSD capability that never came. So I think that the writing was a little more on the wall about it now, and so I'm glad that they transferred it for this listener because I know several people that have been screwed and they're very pro Tesla. And they've had several Teslas, and I know people that have bought
and
FSD
they bought it again, right?
Like 5 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
From back.
Elon successfully got his money then.
Yeah, over and over again.
That's appalling.
Well,
so yeah. Anyway, so I think at this point this question's kind of dead then, because we all basically agree it's already happened, so we can kind of throw that one out.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I think all right, except for Mike, because he never said yes or no.
Yeah, but it kind of ties into the next question.
Yeah. So, will Tesla offer an upgrade path for Hardware 3 owners?
Not a chance in hell.
Doug said in 2025, no, but yes, eventually. I said same. I also agreed it was not going to happen last year, but eventually they will. Mike said not a chance. Right? So Mike's consistent at least.
I am consistent on that point.
I mean, so the question is, do we think it'll happen in 2026 or not yet?
Nope. I don't think it will happen in 2026 yet.
Me neither.
And it doesn't even matter.
I don't think it ever will.
Okay. Well, I don't think it doesn't matter until they actually have this thing solved, right? Because it's possible that hardware 4 isn't enough. Then that becomes a bigger issue. It's like, do they need to offer hardware 5? Hardware 4 people.
I can assure you,
5,
hardware 4 is not enough.
Hardware 5 and hardware 6 are already on the roadmap.
Already in the roadmap.
Yeah.
In fact, hardware 5 is delayed. Hardware 5 was supposed to, I think,
was already supposed to be
supposed to come out like I don't know if it was last year or this year, but whatever it is, it's been pushed back a year, it seems. And part of
they were supposed to be. I'm pretty sure they were supposed to be in like full ramp production like by end of last year, and I'm pretty sure they're not. I think again, don't have insider info, just heard some stuff, and I think that's what it was. But anyway, again, could be completely wrong because I don't know. But yeah, they definitely delayed, but hardware 5 is not that far away. Should be happening, should be coming out. I would be surprised if we didn't see it in cars later this year. So this year sometime. And then hardware 6 is already in development as far as like, them developing to make it not just production, but like design and stuff. So I think so again, hardware 4, probably not enough. Hardware 5, maybe. Like we're starting to get somewhere where it seems for what most people consider self-driving and what they care about, hardware 4 already can do a bunch of things hardware 3 can't. Hardware 5 might close the gap more, but depends on what level of safety and reliability. So
yeah, well,
there will probably be a hardware 10, right? Yeah. Like eventually they'll keep coming out with them.
So they'll need some headroom on the hardware itself to keep upgrading and bringing new features out.
Yeah, so I think my opinion, hardware 5 would be the earliest they would let us upgrade. So like I don't see I think hardware 3 people will never upgrade to hardware 4. It'll probably be a jump over that. But
which would make sense.
But yeah. So anyway,
But
I also agree with Doug. So Doug says not this year. I agree.
I still think they won't do it. I don't think the hardware 3 infrastructure, whatever's in the car, I don't think it has the capability to support hardware 5 or 4 for that matter. Well, so how do you do an upgrade?
A good question, though, if you think about it. If they skip hardware 4 and the hardware 3 cards get updated to some kind of hardware 5 light or something,
hardware 5 light,
are those hardware 3 cars now better than the hardware 4 cars?
Could be.
I don't see.
I don't see them letting you upgrade hardware 3 and not also letting hardware 4 upgrade. I feel like if they land on 5,
how would they do it? Would they charge the hardware 4 people, but they let us get it for free since we've been?
I think they're going to charge everyone. I think we're all going to have to pay for it. Honestly, I think it'll be probably like a couple $1,000 upcharge. Would be my guess.
How else is Elon going to make money?
I think there'd probably be a lawsuit about that if they did that. I think they have to, for people that still have their hardware 3 cars and they paid for FSD back then. I think they'll have to do
some kind of break.
I think they'll certainly offer it for some people to pay for it. Like they did that on like some Model S's that had hardware 2 or something, and they needed to do some kind of update.
My father-in-law went from like 2 to 2.5, something like that, but he had to pay like a $1,500 upcharge.
Yeah, but there was a lawsuit about that upcharge though, and I think Tesla had lost, or maybe at least for some individual that managed to get that money back. But so yeah, I don't know. Tesla is kind of slippery about it. So, but I think for people in my situation, and you and Lewis in my situation, I think they'd have to at least there might be options like we'll get a new computer, but we'll have to pay for new cameras or something.
Right.
I'm sure they'll find a way to extract money. The real thing is they'll try to convince us to buy new cars, right?
Of course.
But they'll let us transfer our FSD.
Yeah, they'll let us. Oh boy. I wanted to insert a new question here as we start to run long. Elon's been talking about like with hardware 5, like and whatever. It's like, oh, we're going to need so many chips. We're going to need he called it. We've had, I guess they call it a mega factory for like these batteries. We've had gigafactory. He called it a terafactory.
A terafactory.
So another factor of 1,000.
Yep.
Or basically for Tesla to become a fab and start making their own chips.
But I thought Grok was sucking up all the chips. Yeah.
Well, Grok too. Maybe Grok will be a customer also, but they're going to need so many of these AI chips that Tesla will have to do it themselves. Now, Tesla likes to be vertically integrated, but man, I don't see it.
That's a tough sell.
I mean,
as somebody who worked at a brand new fab that was cutting edge and spun up at a brand new fab and did all that,
so hard.
Billions of dollars that went into it and the decade of time,
and
everything else. Like,
it's so hard.
Decade, huh?
just even having your clean room work and like getting your particle count down. I just remember, I worked in like research labs and they'd make some change, and then it would be like weeks before our particle count came down, and they did all these things. Like we were a class, I don't know, we started out as like a class 1,000 because like research, and we're trying to get down to like a class 100 or class 10, and they did all this stuff, and we were nowhere near a class 10 after all that. I just don't see it. And even looking at companies like Intel, man, Intel has failed to keep pace with TSMC, And
Intel failed. Global Foundries gave up on it entirely. They literally said it was not worth the investment. So I worked there when they were doing 7 and 10 nanometer research. We were shipping 14 nanometer devices and doing 7 and 10 research. And they gave up and straight up said, you know what? After a couple years, this is not worth doing. There's not enough customers because basically there's only so many people in the world willing to buy your yields, willing to buy those chips. And there's not enough money to go into it to make a profit out of the investment required, right? Like one litho machine EUV is $400+ million. And so you just to do a full setup, you're talking several $1 billion to be able to set up to make that level of device. There's not enough customers that are willing to buy the devices at a markup enough to make back the money, right? So TSMC is the only company in the world that does it for profit. Samsung technically has some capability, but it's not, again, not nearly at the yield or scale. And China now claims that they have a company that can make their own X-ray lithography machine, right? An EUV lithography machine, which is the hardest part. Not the only hard part, but the hardest part. So they're claiming they're starting to get there, but again, I think they're easily 10 years behind, but we'll see. They may narrow the gap. But yeah, there's basically, if Tesla actually needs those chips, like actually needs it to be 4 nanometer, 2 nanometer, whatever, there's no freaking way they should open a fab. Like, it's genuinely a bad idea. Doesn't mean they won't try, but it's a bad idea.
I feel like it's one of those things that, that Elon has a little bit of knowledge about, but just enough to be dangerous and doesn't really know, it's kind of like when he was talking about the cyber truck and that they'd have to have sub-micron precision or something. It's so,
I remember that.
Absolutely ridiculous. If you've ever actually worked on this stuff and to know like what tolerances actually mean and how something like that is so much more difficult and extremely more expensive and unnecessary for what he was doing. So he was just talking out of his figuratively literally talking out of his butt there. And so
and to be clear, TSMC can't even do it in the US, right? They've even tried themselves, company that actually successfully does it, tried to do it here. It does not work culturally, and for the cost that they need to do it, they have to pay a certain amount of money, and they need a certain type of labor.
And you have some very specific skilled labor that
that they have in Taiwan. It is
that they have in Taiwan, and they don't
in Singapore and in the region.
Like, they don't really have here. And even actually, I mean, I'm just thinking about just stuff I've done. So I worked in a fab, at university, and then for a little bit I worked in industry. And just because I was familiar with it, I was kind of, the fab path. But even the people I was talking to, I was working for some aerospace company, as a smart guy, you don't deal with doing fab stuff. You deal with, just the designing the circuit or whatever, or maybe even the chip design. But you don't worry about, the fab and the yield stuff, because that's not the
process engineers. They don't get paid anywhere close.
Yeah. But you need to, I mean, those process engineers are
very important.
Very sharp, and they're very dedicated to what they do.
Yes.
And so we're just not, I don't know if it's culture or whatever, but even at the, in the smart person realm, they're not doing that. It's like being a very fancy plumber or something. So yeah.
Anyway, so that's an interesting, thing that he would say. I'm not surprised that he would say that they should. It's a terrible idea. I don't think they'll do it. Hopefully somebody will talk about it.
I could see them actually trying. I don't know if they'll succeed. Sure. So yeah. So I guess the question is, will they actually do it? Will they try?
Yeah. No. I don't know. I would say no, purely because I don't think chip production is the problem anymore. So there's always more opportunity to make more chips. I think really the issue for a lot of these companies is not the chips anymore. Certainly in the West, it's more the power production and the infrastructure to use the chips. A lot of them supposedly have GPUs just sitting on the shelf, unable to be plugged in and turned on. In a lot of places, almost like the dark fiber era. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they need to actually make more chips themselves. I don't think they'll do it.
What do you think, Mike?
No. We'll keep it straight and simple. No.
Okay. I don't think so either. I think it would be really bad if they did. But a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but Tesla is amazing and they can do everything.
It might be a way to juice their stock.
Yeah.
So I could see it as hey, we're going to do this thing to help.
Well, but yeah, they can say anything they want. So.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope they don't, because I think it would be a mistake. I want Tesla making cars, and they can get all the chips they need. If if we can, get all this tariff craziness to stop happening, because and we should figure out a way to do that kind of manufacturing here.
Yes.
We maybe hire those people to come here. Of course,
they do that.
Crazy stuff happens.
Except they killed that import process. So
and of course what happened at Hyundai with all those the Koreans trying to teach us how to do stuff the right way, and what a mess.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Keep going. Let's roll this out.
We're almost done. We're almost there. Let's see. When will so this is an old one. Is when will robotaxi start delivery? We'll call it the cyber cab specifically.
Well, no.
You wanted
I listened like to the way we were talking about it then when we wrote this question. What we really meant by robotaxi was a robotaxi service.
Okay.
Like you being able to, call up a Tesla to come pick you up and take you someplace. That's what we meant by that when we said it. So to clarify, the cyber cab is the vehicle and robotaxi is the service. And so when will Tesla start offering a robotaxi service is the way that should be stated. Now, Mike said 2027. Lewis said 2027. I said 2026, but I said they could easily do a pilot program. And this is
guess what they did.
And they did that. I said, they should get, they could have like 10 or so and do it in Austin. And because my feeling is that FSD is pretty good. And if you're able to do it in like an urban, relatively low speed environment, and if it's sort of geofenced that they could, and someplace without too much weather, that they could probably do it.
And I live in Austin and I've signed up and I still don't have access to it. So yes, you're right. It technically exists and some people apparently can use it. I'm not one of those people.
I'm actually kind of shocked that you can't use it.
Can't use it. I can use a Waymo, but I cannot use a Tesla.
Yeah, they sent out
the are you out of the active area?
Well, I just mean when I'm downtown, right? So like I live in Austin, but I live south side, which they don't offer down here. They only do it north of the river. But
interesting.
Even when I'm down there, it says I don't have access to download the app and even like try to order right to like set it up. So anyway, go ahead, Doug. You were saying something.
Well, I was just gonna say that they put out an email that felt like some kind of bait and switch, because the email was like, "Oh, we're ready for you to sign up for robotaxi." I'm like, "Great," because I happen to be in California, and I knew they had something in the Bay Area going. And I'm like looking at this email, like, oh, awesome. And I try to sign up, and there was no real sign up. It was just like, I don't know what the point of that email was.
I got the email and thought I got in because I was on the waiting list. I was like, yes, I'm finally in. Nope, not a real thing. Nothing.
So. Yeah, all I was able to do was re-register for the waiting list. And so I'm like, well, is this thing actually going on or not? So we talked about this stuff last year. Like by the time we did our next episode, it was announced that they'd be rolling this thing out. And we did have an episode before and after they started doing their awesome stuff. And Tesla, I feel like all their names of stuff is just oxymorons and irony, because already FSD beta went to FSD supervised, so it's full self-driving supervised, which is already an oxymoron, right? And they talked about, with this robotaxi, it's FSD unsupervised, right? Okay, so here's your robotaxi service using FSD unsupervised, except there's a supervisor sitting in the passenger seat. And it's like, okay, come on, what is this? And my sense is that it hasn't really expanded much. They've expanded the area, but it still seems there are only like maybe 30 cars out there, which is not a whole lot. And so when I was in the Bay Area, I was hoping to ride in robotaxi. Of course, it didn't. I did get a couple Waymo rides, which were really great and interesting. I kind of like the integration, because it I have my phone and it could just like play my music. Like, I have my YouTube music would just come up, and they have their LiDAR, and it's very interesting. You can sort of see all the people walking around you, and you can even see people in other cars, and so it's very it looks like it really has an awareness of what's around it, and it knows where all the other Waymos are, because it kind of displays them differently. And you have a sense that its sensor reach extends beyond itself, because it kind of has the sensor reach of the other vehicles. So it's almost like like the way the F-35 works. We have this sort of
network.
Yeah, the sort of tactical awareness of the area. Now they did have Waymo sort of embarrassingly had a failure where there was a power outage. And it was kind of funny because, Tesla's like, well, the Teslas had no problem. And here's Waymo, clogging up traffic. Well, those Teslas have people in the driver's seat, I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be upset about it, because it's just a normal car. just driving around. And my understanding about the way the Waymos failed is it was kind of a network error in a way, because they, when they're in a situation, they're sort of programmed to check in with, the mothership or whatever, to just for safety's sake, to get a suggestion of what I do here. But because there was a power outage, you had some critical mass of vehicles all asking for help at the same time. And so they're all just sort of stalled out.
Kind of overwhelmed the network.
Yeah. And so that was sort of the problem. And that's an important thing to know about, and that's maybe advantage Tesla would have, is if they are networked, that they'd all have something like Starlink that wouldn't be affected by a terrestrial network issue. So someone's asking what part of the Bay Area I'm from. I was basically around Stanford. I lived in Mountain View for many years. And right now I don't officially live in Maryland, but I have family here, so I'm helping out with my elderly dad. And so I was in San Francisco for I guess a little bit before Christmas, and just hanging out, just checking out the city. They have some lights and stuff, some interesting things in the city. But and the Waymo I was perfectly happy with, and I was really excited to try a robotaxi, since they advertise it being available there. But I don't know how many people can actually use it. So I don't know. Maybe we're blacklisted.
It's very possible.
They see the show and oh, we don't want them.
Yeah, so, it's very possible I'm blacklisted.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, cool. So the question then for this year, I suppose, is, do we think they're going to, I don't know, what do we want to ask? Do we think they're going to do it without a driver, right? They have a safety driver in there. You think
that's a real question. When will the safety driver leave? Elon made this prediction. Didn't he say, I don't even remember because he made so many promises, but by the end of 2025, last year, robotaxi service was supposed to be going wide. Mm-hmm. They talked about FSD unsupervised. They talked about not having the safety driver. And then he also talked about flipping the switch, or it awakening or something. So I don't know. None of that stuff happened. So I don't know if any of those things are worth predicting. When will I get to use robotaxi? When will you, who actually live in Austin, get to use it? Will you get to try it next year? That's a good question. And then just basically, when will the safety driver go away?
So I think this year I will get to try it. I'd be surprised if they make it the whole year without opening it up to more people. So I would expect I'd get to try it this year, unless I am actually blacklisted, which is possible. The safety driver, though, I don't think goes away this year. I think they, to me, it's not real until that can happen, but I don't think the safety driver goes away this year. But
so the safety driver still all through 2026?
Yep.
I think yes.
Yeah.
I think that would be the responsible thing to do.
Well, but, I think you're right. I don't think FSD has got enough redundancy in place for something like a commercial activity without that safety driver.
I could see it going away
teleoperated,
very specific region. I could see him going away in Austin, but obviously in Texas, they don't even have in the Bay Area, in California, they don't even have a license to be a robotaxi. They're signed up as a rideshare service, like Uber,
right.
the Ubers that are already driving. So
that's true. They might actually do it just because they legally can.
Yeah.
They want to be able to say it.
Yeah. So will they? And I don't know if it's only a few cars and
oh boy.
Okay, all the things. Let's say, okay, I'm going to say they will get rid of they'll get rid of it in Austin. I'll say that. They'll get rid of the safety driver within 2026
in Austin.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very possible.
What do you say, Mike?
He's
shaking his head.
No.
Okay. So, okay. Safety driver. All right. I'll mark this down as we move.
I'm feeling very pessimistic today.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next one, will we see driverless ride from West Coast to the East Coast? So last year we all said no.
Yeah, that's kind of open ended.
So we all said no last year. So will we see a driverless ride? Yeah, I mean, I guess it define driverless, right? Like technically, if you have to get out and plug it in, does that count?
I would give them that because so we had this discussion a couple times over the last year or so, and I said that I think it could do it like with someone sitting in the car without an intervention. And you guys were very much against it, but I tend to think, having ridden a lot and it being pretty good, you could probably do a ride, a long ride, and without
I think it could now.
Yeah.
I think it can do it within a limited area. And the reason I say that is my last road trip through Utah, coming back.
Okay, but we're talking coast to coast.
Utah's part of the coast to coast. Hate to break this to you.
Okay.
You don't have to go through Utah.
Yeah. But the issue I had would hold true with any Midwest state where there's not a lot of people. And that is at 11:30 at night on the highway when it's dark and overcast. It's really dark. And the FSD
I don't think they'll drive
bitterly. And the FSD complained bitterly about my cameras being occluded.
Yeah.
Which just meant it couldn't see anything.
Yeah, they could fix that with software.
Well, I'm sure they could, but I think you need to tighten up the ask. Can Tesla go from A to B unsupervised under what conditions?
Yeah, well, I think
can we make it over the Rockies in the middle of November in the snow?
No, I would say favorable weather during the day driving only.
I would say during the day you got a fighting chance at it.
I think they could do it now, right? I feel like
I think during the day, major highways, you got a fighting chance.
Okay, well, so let's talk about what's happened. Last year, a group tried to go from LA to, I don't know.
Yeah, they got what, like 100 miles?
They got and then there was road debris. It was sad. There was like,
it really was.
And they weren't doing nothing. And then at the last moment, like, whoa, it's not an animal, and it was something hard, and it just totally
bang
messed up their car. That's sad. Now within the last month, I think.
Yeah, some guy claims he did it.
In December. A guy claims he did it. And I believe that the car could do that. And he said no interventions. Now, just in my experience.
Define intervention. Yeah.
Well, not I don't know.
Okay. No intervention means I'm sitting on the side of the road. I hit start and I don't touch it until I end up in the supercharger parked.
Now that's been my general.
And I think experience. That you can do that.
Yeah. I've been able to do that.
You can do that within reason.
Now the thing is though, there are like I said, it missed a turn and then I intervened, but I didn't need to. I'm sure it probably would have just ended up having to do whatever, like go the wrong way for a bit. But I think eventually would have figured it out.
Well,
so
on a few highways I've been on that forever. It could be a long way, so you can turn around.
Okay, but I mean the guy could still do the thing, and also it's recalculating when it has to charge. And my experience with that Harbor 4S was that just go. I had to go to a supercharger twice. And the first time it screwed up in terms of the parking, but the second time, again, it finds an open spot and it just pulls in. All I had to do was get out and plug it in.
Yeah.
And then when I was done, I unplugged it and I had my new destination or continue my trip and then press go and it just went. So I think it can, so I don't know if that counts if someone's in the car. I think what Elon said back in, was it 2016?
It was
nobody in the car.
Nobody's in the car.
Nobody in the car.
Which that's not going to happen until it's got like inductive charging or something. So, or a robot or an Optimist that gets out and plugs in the thing. So
that's what you need, an Optimist attendant at every supercharging station. That's what I want them to announce this year. Let me get that, Elon.
That would be a sight to watch. Yeah.
It would be like getting gas in New Jersey.
Like exactly. Somebody or Oregon. Correct. Yeah. So let's see. Somebody in the chat did make a comment though that I agree with. Basically, the guy pissed off a lot of people behind him. Which, yes, I mean, like that's the thing that I would agree with. I feel like today you could do it from coast to coast under favorable conditions during the day. It is possible to do. you'll be a jerk on the road. At some point, someone will be mad at you. And you like
someone's
you're not worried about road debris or potholes or other types of things that it's gonna not see, or it's gonna mess up your suspension or whatever. Like, is it a great experience? No, but it's technically possible now. I think the experience will keep improving. Again, they're probably a few years away from it being a pleasant and good experience, but anyway, I would say yes, they can do it now. I would give it credit.
Well, so I mean, we had a prediction, right? Didn't we?
Yeah. So for last year, we all said no.
Yeah. Well, I said they're making steps. So, which I think what I was saying is that it could
that's
work.
accurate. I mean, they are making steps.
Well, I didn't straight up. Yeah, I think they could do it. So I don't know if they did it though. If we count that. So
I don't know
count that drive or not.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I didn't actually read his thing or see what he said, so I don't know if he actually did or not. But I do think it's technically possible to do now. So it could you have done it a month ago?
Okay. Well, will we get one? They did only once. They had a car sort of self-deliver, but of course there was like a Minder car driving behind it. Perhaps they could do coast to coast without somebody in the car, but they'd probably have a Minder behind it, and and somebody to show up and plug it in
on the entire time to make sure people.
I don't think it needs that. So yeah, will they actually do the unsupervised by like nobody in the car itself? Of course, you could have some remote. You probably have a kill switch. I mean, like what's that follow car doing? Like follow car probably has a kill switch.
Probably,
maybe, or telefactoring.
Yeah. So let's see all right.
So will they do a car without somebody in it, coast to coast next year?
No.
Without somebody in it this
without
year,
somebody in it.
Yeah, this year
no.
for 2026.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I think with somebody in it under optimal conditions, it's doable today.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they'll do it with the driver, with the safety driver, basically, but I don't think they'll do it without.
Okay, we'll see. I'll know, because I think we can say that they already did it last year. We'll just take that guy at his word.
Yeah,
that's fair.
He did.
I'm just thinking of some of those fun roads in Maine. I've gone up and down. It's bad enough when I'm driving.
With any drive, it's probability, right? Like you don't know what other car is going to do. Like I could get in an accident anytime. Right. So
it's just.
I will say that guy was lucky enough that he managed to do it.
It needs to be under optimal conditions.
Right. Yeah. All right. So let's see. The next one was about Gigafactory Mexico or Megafactory Shanghai would open in 2025, and we all said no.
Well, we all said no for the Mexico,
yes to Shanghai. Yeah. And Shanghai did open, and Mexico still has not opened.
Still has.
Yeah, I just think we should clarify, because I confused myself with it. There's been a Gigafactory Shanghai for years, since I don't know. Correct. I think it was announced in like 2018 or something, and
yes,
maybe it opened. I'm not sure when it opened, but it built pretty quick. This mega factory that they had announced is about making, like, I guess mega packs, about making batteries.
Yeah.
And it had opened, like, I think by January 2025 it had opened. So we originally predicted for 2024, and we said, yeah, Shanghai would open, but it didn't, but it did open in 2025. So we're right in 25. And of course, Mexico is just in limbo with the politics of it. I mean, it made sense to make a lower cost Tesla if that's what they're going to do. But of course, with the tariff situation and everything, and that's just not going to happen.
Correct.
In this administration. I don't think it's going to happen for the next several years.
So yeah, so not really any point in updating that one. Not going to happen for a couple of years. Alrighty. Will a competing company beat Optimus to market? Tesla is planning to sell Optimus in 2026. And we all said yes.
And that was quickly true.
And it was very true pretty early 2025. Yeah.
Yeah, like Unitree sold, and there are a bunch of kind of humanoid robots around that you could buy now.
Yep.
To
you can get them teleoperated by a person in China.
That's the that Nordic company.
Yeah, what's it called?
X1 or something?
Yeah. I think that's the model of the robot or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so that's an interesting model to be teleoperated, but that gives it an opportunity to learn. I mean, factory robots are kind of easy in a way. Like, you know, a factory is a very controlled environment. A home, every home is different.
Oh
So
yeah.
many random things going on. You got so many chaos agents, children and animals, you know, pets.
They're quite good at it.
So we'll see that. So yeah, so that question is done. But so Tesla has been predicting to start deliveries in 2026. And so we in 2025, we were making predictions about 2026 already. Will they actually deliver something? You guys said no, I said yes. We could ask the same question again. Will they actually deliver something in 2026?
I think yes, they will at this point. I would change my answer.
Nope.
And Mike says no.
Yeah, I still say no.
Yeah, I will. I'm staying with yes. The thing is though, like there's so much competition now, and it's kind of like the Roadster in a way. Like I feel like part of the Roadster delay has been Tesla wanting to be able to say they're the best at something with it, and I don't see Tesla being able to do that with the Optimus. And the other thing, they've been spending so much time on hands. You know, they wanted these very fancy hands, and I just don't think that's the way to go. If you want a useful robot that's going to do stuff, you know, like a 3-point hand will probably get through most of the useful things that a robot can do. Like, do you want the thing to play the piano and play the violin? You know, like
no,
generally not.
He talked about performing surgery. You know, all these things that are. I mean, we have purpose-built robots for performing surgery. So I feel like he's barking up the wrong tree, or he has some sci-fi mindset of like it'll be really impressive.
Do my laundry. That's the only thing that matters. If it can load and unload the washer and dryer, I will buy one.
And fold it.
And fold, yeah, exactly. Fold it, hang it up, whatever.
Folding requires some dexterity, but like I think about my own hands. Like, where do I really use my dexterity? Probably mostly is when I'm typing. You know, of course, the robot doesn't need to type. They can input other ways if it needs to input. Maybe when I'm washing dishes, but there are machines to do dishwashing. And when I play an instrument, I use my dexterity. But I don't need the robot to be playing an instrument. You know, if anything, if you're going to have some machine playing music, like AI can just generate music. You know, you don't need it.
Right.
You don't need it playing an instrument. So, but I feel like in Elon's head, oh, this is the cool thing that, oh, this is such an amazing, brilliant thing, but that's not useful. I prefer to hear, I'm impressed when I listen to live music of the skill of the person that's able to play the music. I'm not going to pay money for a robot that's going to.
Robotic skill is not impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I might as well be listening to a recording. And what's the point of that?
Right.
So yeah, you want it to be able to do laundry. So I would not invest so much time in the hands. I mean, sure, eventually you might want fancy hands, but you want it actually doing useful stuff. Laundry. I don't know. That's probably the main thing. I don't want
basically
to take
loading and unloading the dishwasher would be my afterwards, but I would start with loading and unloading the washing machine and the dryer, and then being able to fold or hang up clothes like that. It's probably the main non-automated task in the home that people do. That's kind of annoying.
That's all my wife asks about. Can it wash my laundry and fold it?
Right, exactly. The dishwasher itself, we already kind of have a robot that washes dishes, right? Your dishwasher, that's what it is. It's again, what's the annoying part left? The loading and unloading. That's harder to do because you're going to have all the different. It's fragile, and you're going to need more stuff there. I would start, and it's breakable. Like I would start with the clothes. Do the clothes part, load and unload the dishwasher or the washing machine and the dryer. Let's do that. But anyway.
So I think Neo has the right approach there. That was the company we were trying to say. The Neo 1X is.
I kept wanting to say Neo Rest, but that's my toilet because I have a Toto Neo Rest toilet anyway. So
well, with remote operation, that robot may help you there too.
Yeah, there you go.
My toilet is already robotic. I don't need any additional robotic help. Okay, so
but
it's
I feel like they have the right
company.
approach in that they just designed this robot to be safe around animals and people. It's soft to the touch. It's relatively low weight. And then yes, they do have this sort of teleoperation model, but that gets it in homes, that gets it learning how to work in a home. So I think that's a smart way. It's kind of in a way, it's like the Tesla model of FSD, in that you have people driving it and it's sort of learning how to work in the environment. So I'm impressed with them. I'm impressed, but a little bit wary of Boston Dynamics right now.
Yes.
They have, I think their robot approach, or at least the robot that they have right now, the electric Atlas, as the one that replaced the hydraulic Atlas. I think it's very smart in that, okay, it can be human form, but there's no reason for it to have a limitation that humans do. Like its joints can go all around. It can basically rotate its head around, and
Right.
they have this idea of it having like these two sort of hot swappable batteries, so it can just walk up, and then the battery's in its back, but it can just walk backwards and turn its head around and pull out its own battery, and then charge the batteries, pull out a clean charge battery, and it's one at a time, so it stays powered, and they can just keep working instead of having to wait around to charge. And and it's made modular or whatever. My issue is, I guess they've been bought by Hyundai, and what they showed at CES was some sort of CGI renderings of this thing. And I don't know, I'm a little worried. I don't know what's going on with this acquisition. And, and Boston Dynamics has been doing stuff for 30 years or something.
Yes.
A long time.
I just don't know where they are now. I looked at this new robot, and it looked like they were trying to save money. It looked like it was using the same actuator in a lot of spots, and I felt it just seems like, is that the approach you want to go? Make it modular, make it make parts interchangeable or upgradable or whatever. But it just looked a little weird to me, so I wasn't quite sure. It looked like someone was trying to save money, and they didn't have a working prototype at the show. They just had a static thing, and then they showed a bunch of CGI. And so I was a little worried. I'm like, that didn't inspire confidence in me, where the existing thing that they had looked really cool, but maybe, that wasn't quite manufacturable, So we'll see where they go. But still, I don't know. I just don't think Tesla is, are they in the same league there? The way Elon's been talking about, this thing's gonna, what is this? The, unlimited abundance, and that
right. Never have to work again.
Yeah. That's just kind of crazy talk. But also, in terms of what it means for Tesla as a company, if Tesla's going to be this $8 trillion company because of Optimus and Robotaxi, I just don't see it, because there are so many competitors that will also be in that space, and I think are better, or definitely have the potential to be better. So I just don't really know. And again, the way he talks about this stuff, it's just, it's just got to get your radar up about, it just sounds like snake oil. It's the underpants gnomes, the underpants gnomes from South Park. Actually, Elon quoted them in some presentation for SpaceX many years ago, but of course he got it wrong. He misquoted the thing, but it's collect underpants. Step 1, collect underpants. Step 2, a bunch of question marks. Step 3, profit. So here it is, step 1, Optimus. Step 2, step 3, unlimited abundance. I mean, how do we get there? What's the step 2? And it seems to me it's just it's people who are already rich protecting their resources, and people that and just people that are just even middle class people have no real access to making any money to afford this Optimus thing. And Elon even suggested that you could change punishment. You wouldn't have to put people in jail. You'd have an Optimus follow you around and just make sure you don't do crime. That sounds pretty dystopian to me.
Yeah,
who's deciding what kind of crime you're about to do? And you have a robot minder, and what's that robot going to do to keep you from doing a crime? It's going to tase you, or what is it going to do? What if it decided that you insulted a cop and you need to get tased for that? It just makes no sense to me. So I don't know where that's going.
Yes, robot army really doesn't make sense for anybody that isn't already in power. For most of us, it's not a good future to have.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see. What else we got? We're almost done.
Yeah.
Man, we've been going at it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
All right. So this one was, will Tesla get a publicly facing COO? We all said no. They didn't. I mean, I don't see why they would now. So
yeah, I mean, that's kind of a perennial question. Do they need one, like a Gwen Shavel? Yes, they do.
Yeah, desperately need one.
Would it be great? I guess the main problem is it's all about the stock price right now, and correct. Elon being CEO is what props up the stock price because of some I don't know. Was it, what do you call that?
Cult of personality.
Yeah, a cult of personality is I guess a more accurate way of putting it. And yeah, then everyone that is a stockholder wants him to stay CEO, because if he left, the stock price would
tank,
reset to something realistic, something that matches, actual production. So he's probably never going at this point. He's tied himself to it. He'll threaten to leave, which again is ridiculous, because if he left, he would tank his own value.
A lot of money. Yes.
Yep. So it's a false threat, but he'll make that threat anyway, and everyone will thank him for it. So
yep,
it's weird.
Okay, so not gonna happen. We don't really need to keep going with that one. All right, and then the last one we had was, will the SLS survive past the Artemis 2? And we all said no.
Yeah, well.
Any update?
What's the update?
Well, I
don't know. I still feel like Artemis 2 will probably. Yeah, I don't know. When's Artemis 3 scheduled to be?
Okay, so it's really interesting because at the time we did all this when we first asked this question, right? Jared Isaacman was nominated to be the new head of NASA. Elon and Trump were all chummy. And Elon is like, well, we could do the whole program with by ourselves. SpaceX could do the whole thing, and SLS is very overpriced and is essentially the Senate launch system. And
if only we could strap them all to it.
And so it looked like Artemis 2 was already going to happen. Like they were working, like were already moving forward with it. Now a lot of weird things happened. Jared's nomination got yanked after Elon and Trump had a falling out. Then there was a lot of weird stuff with the Secretary of Transportation, Duffy. It looked like he was trying to get the job, but eventually Jared was renominated and he has it. So it's kind of ridiculous. After a delay of a year, he's got it. Now, one thing that happened with Duffy, he basically said, well, maybe we need to open up Artemis 3 because Blue Origin was showing progress. Blue Origin managed to return their booster with their new Glenn, and Blue Origin has at least designed for a lunar lander, one that's for cargo, one that's bigger for crew, and they've even been doing tests at the NBL, the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, in where is that? That's in Johnson, so that's in Houston. Now, I don't even know how you would do NBL testing with Starship. It's so freaking big. I wouldn't even fit in the tub, wouldn't fit in the tank, I don't know. So, now SpaceX, after that happened, SpaceX did sort of show some renderings and stuff and some actual photos of things they're working on for for the HLS Starship, the Human Landing System Starship, but it didn't feel far enough along to me. And Starship has been kind of stalled for a bit. Like their version 2, most of those vehicles did not get to be completely tested because they sort of burned up on reentry, and they had failures, before getting to reentry. So, and now they're on to version 3, which has yet to do a launch test. So yeah, that's been sort of opened up. So it's kind of like anybody's game now for Artemis 3, like, which is good, I think. Yeah, whoever gets there first. But it's like the battle of the billionaires. Like, will Blue Origin or will or SpaceX do it? And the goal is to do it before Trump leaves office. So that's the limiting factor. So he's out in 2028. So they're trying to do it.
Yeah. So Artemis 2 right now is supposed to be in February this year.
Yeah. The first launch windows is February. So and Artemis 2 should just happen.
Yeah, Artemis 3 was originally supposed to be in 2027, but it's more likely not going to be. It's likely.
There's no way.
Unlikely. Extremely unlikely.
So the thing is, the money's there. I mean, just a few days ago, like the presidential budget proposal, cut a lot of science out of NASA, and it seemed like the only thing that was getting any money was SLS. But Congress actually controls the purse strings, which is their
and they just
mandate.
Brought it all back, basically.
And they pretty much brought it back. Maybe the Mars sample return won't happen, but so anyway, I think the money's there. I think Artemis 3 will happen. Well, the money's there for it. Like the SLS launch is there. The question is, SpaceX or Blue Origin is HLS. Is the lander actually going to be ready? And SpaceX has a ton to do because they have to do, in orbit refueling. They have yet to demonstrate a bunch of stuff that's supposed to be demonstrated, the last few years. So I don't know. I don't know if they'll be ready.
They got all that Starlink money coming in. They should be able to make some progress.
And they might go public too. So
it's going to give them a lot of money.
Temporarily.
So yeah. So anyway, will SLS survive past Artemis 2? I think now, yes. At least it has the money for it. It's just the question is, because the question is SLS. Will SLS survive? Like Artemis 3 could still happen, or Artemis whatever, Artemis N, whatever, could happen without SLS, right? If we get, and that's the goal, actually. I think past Artemis 4, like there's an upgraded SLS that probably is never happening, where its second stage gets upgraded. That's probably never happening. So the goal would be to replace that with New Glenn or Starship or something, some other launch vehicle.
Sure.
But I think, yes, SLS will survive at least Artemis 3 because the money is there for SLS to do it. Congress will give the money for it. So it's good but will the other parties, will HLS be ready though for SLS for Artemis 3?
And you think no?
I don't know. I don't know. But I for this question, I changed my answer to yes.
Okay.
And but I don't know about HLS. Like we have to say, will HLS happen in 2027? I'll say no. Will it happen in 2028? I think good money probably says no, but we hope it happens before 2030 when the Chinese will definitely be there. So
yeah, for sure. Okay, interesting. Alrighty, so Doug changed his answer to yes. I think you're right because the money being there with the budgets. That I actually did read through that a couple of days ago when they just published the thing. I think I was reading it yesterday actually, because I was curious. So yeah, it probably SLS will probably still happen. At this point, it's probably, like you said, it's probably going to make it through to Artemis 4. It would be nice if they would replace it with something much cheaper, but it is what it is. So, but yes, so we all said no. We were still could be right, but we were probably wrong. And now Doug says yes this year. What do you think, Mike? Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're all
with the budget. Doug, I think there's too many jobs at stake. Well, there's too many jobs at stake. So
right, exactly. So I will say that's the thing that a lot of people always seem to screw up or not realize. when you talk about these huge programs spending billions of dollars and all this stuff, a lot of that money is going to
jobs.
people having jobs and doing work.
And Congress knows that.
So that's how those projects get crazy. Now, what sucks is when they're public companies that are also using that to like pump up their, numbers and their share prices and all the other nonsense. And it's not like just salaries for people. But anyway, we don't need to get into that topic. We've been going for too long as it is. Alrighty. So that's all I had for the questions on the list. Any final thoughts or comments, Doug, you wanted to make?
Well, I don't know. I mean, some other just sort of SpaceX related things was that Elon had been planning to do a launch to Mars, and he acted as if he could do all this stuff at the same time. And there is sort of a Mars window, I guess, this year. And so basically get an Optimus on Mars. To me, it'd be like, crash land it. But which, is still an achievement.
It's an achievement.
So if you could like send an Optimus to Mars, will that happen next year? I'm going to say no, because I'm not seeing enough progress fast enough, but they could maybe do it. But I don't think they'll make the window with the current progress. But I mean, there are other things, there's people talking about data centers in space, and now Elon has sort of jumped on that bandwagon too.
Terrible idea.
But I think we can save a bigger discussion about that for another show.
Okay. Cool. Alrighty. Well, again, welcome back, guys. We're in a new year, 2026. Did predictions. I feel like we did pretty well on last year.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. I didn't actually do the tallies to see.
Yeah, me neither.
Who cares? This is fun. So again, thank you. Thanks for listening. Thank you everyone that supports the podcast and Tesla Motors Club. As always, you can go to teslamotorsclub.com, sign up and become a supporting member. There you can like and subscribe and hit the bells and do all the various social media things on the platform in which you are checking us out. And if you listen to the audio podcast, the audio version, big shout out to Doug for all the hard work he does in editing the audio. Alrighty. Well, that's all for us. We'll see you next time.
Laters.